Everything in life is shaped by time. People, ideas, and even machines. And most of them are forgotten, but a rare few become icons. And you see, as a species, we are meant to move forward. And once upon a time, BMW showed us how. At the peak of an era, BMW created a machine that embodied precision, control, and quiet authority. This is the BMW E38. Oh, for f***'s sake. Hey, I'm over here. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the very long story short about this car. My dad purchased it back in 2014, 12 years ago. And when we got it, this car had about 240,000 kilometers on the clock. And over the next 10 years, we put another 260 on it. We made lots of family memories. And sadly, 10 months ago, my dad passed away. So naturally, I decided to overhaul his baby. I was hoping to be able to do all of this with him, but unfortunately, life happens. So now all I can do is restore the car myself in his memory. Now, as you can imagine, this car right now, after all the miles we put on it, has about 500,000 kilometers. And over that mileage, it developed many issues, and it always had issues. So this car has all types of problems. It has oil leaks, it has coolant leaks, it has leak injectors, bad fuel hoses, bad brake hoses, etc, etc. And to top it off, it has a lot of electrical issues as well. But where's the fun in anything without a bit of hell, right? So in this series, we're gonna restore a legend. Of course, this is not going to be an M539 style restoration, because I'm doing it on a budget and I'm doing it in a small garage with kind of limited equipment. And to top that off, I have little to no experience in car repair, so I'm just gonna do what I can with what I got, which is what I'm best at. And we're gonna see if we're able to put this car back on the road and make it a reliable vehicle that does not require bringing a spare car in the trunk. Yes, this car is able to fit another one of those in the trunk. I'm just saying. So anyways, enjoy this series and let's see what we can do. And you know, this is one of my favorite, worst nightmares about this car, and it's the reason why I try not to drive it outside of town too often, because this shit happens. Right now, I'm stranded on the side of the road. We have some type of fuel system failure. Well, maybe I should just get a reliable car in the first place. Oh wait, I have a Volvo, so why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Oh wait, yeah, that is still giving me harsh lessons from above. Good, well, then maybe I'll just change this and she'll be perfect. She'll be perfect and reliable, right? Right? Oh. This is not medical advice, but the good thing about owning a BMW is you get to walk more, which means BMW is good for your health. Wait, I can hear V8. Don't do it! Don't do it! Okay, so after giving this hungry beast some fuel, it started up normally, got me back to town, so it appears there's some kind of a fuel supply issue. My guess is that it's from within the tank, so maybe an in-tank lift pump is bad, because the fuel gauge was showing 20 liters, but somehow the engine could not access that. So there is a chance that there is fuel on one side of the tank that cannot get transferred over to the other side where the lift pump lives. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that the fuel level sensor, the float, is but we're gonna find that out later, and for now we're gonna run some initial health checks just to get a general idea of the health of this engine and some of its components. So this is what we're gonna do initially to get a general idea of the health of this engine. We're gonna first run a CO2 leak test. This tests the vapor in the coolant expansion tank, and that gives us some idea of the condition of the head gasket, the block, and the head itself. So basically, the cooling system is supposed to be completely isolated from combustion gases, and if there is presence of CO2 in the coolant, this is going to show on the test and tell us that either the head gasket is or the block is cracked or the head is cracked. Again, this is a general health check and it's not conclusive. Next up, we're gonna run something a bit more invasive. This is an injector leak-off test, which gives us an idea of the return flow of each injector. I'll give you a bit more information on this once we get there. And finally, we're gonna get a compression test on each cylinder, which on a diesel engine is done through the ports of the glow plugs. We're also going to get some battery voltage with engine off, charging voltage. This we're going to do with lights off, and then we're going to do the same thing under load, just to get an idea of how the alternator is doing. Even though while I'm in there, as they say, I'm going to refurbish it. So let's get to it. So this right here is the CO2 tester kit. Most importantly, it contains this little container made of two parts with a manual pump that you get on top like this. This one you use on top of the radiator where the radiator cap lies. In this case, we have an expansion tank and we don't have a radiator cap. So we get this on top of the expansion tank and we pump vapor into this chamber. In this chamber we have some of this liquid, which is a blue liquid that's used specifically for this test. If the blue liquid turns yellow, now that's starting to sound like a fairy tale. If the blue liquid turns yellow, the CO2 leak test is positive. I have a bad feeling about this. So with the engine at operating temperature, I'm now going to let the pressure release, then turn on the engine, place the tester on top and see what happens. For health purposes, I'm gonna wear a mask because this engine smells absolutely disgusting when working. It's an old diesel. I'm guessing the exhaust system has never been touched and I'm suspecting some exhaust leaks. We're gonna see about that later, but for now let's see what's happening with this. Now I slowly... Okay, not much pressure built up, and time to start the engine. This is a loud boy. I also heard it's a good idea to turn the heater up, just so coolant can circulate everywhere. I'm not sure how valid this is, but I'm gonna do it. And now, let's see. We're gonna push it down and get some air in. So first we do the test at idle and then we do it again under some light load. So I'm going to start up the engine, give it some revs and retest. I'm going to keep this cap turned in just a bit to avoid coolant spilling out. And now we push it down again. So again, there is no change in the color, but I want to get this yellow, so I'm gonna go back to the exhaust, pump some air and see what happens. Oh yeah, would you look at that. Now this is what a positive CO2 test would look like. As per the test, there is no change of this beautiful blue color, which means the CO2 leak test is negative. There's quite a few videos online saying that this liquid, after doing the test, if it's positive, you can like pump fresh air back in and the liquid's gonna change color, and that is true. Some sources say you can reuse this liquid, which I would not recommend. Not that I'm an expert, but you should not risk it, I would say. Otherwise you could contaminate a whole bottle, and that liquid is quite expensive, so don't do it. So as a start, this is good news for this engine. So the CO2 leak test is negative. Yeah, excuse my handwriting, it's horrific. My mom used to call it hieroglyphs. Next up, the injector leak-off test kit. This kit comes with 6 transparent tubes, and you can of course use it on engines with up to 6 cylinders. Comes with a bunch of adapters. So essentially what the test does is it measures excess injector fuel flow. Now what we're looking for here is consistency across all 6 injectors. If one of them returns too much fuel or too little, that one is likely the suspect, and this is the one that's probably faulty. Nevertheless, this test again is not conclusive, and you should get your injectors checked on professional equipment. Now let's get to it. For this job on the M57, you're gonna need a cross tip screwdriver, Allen key, I think this is size 5, and a T15 bit as well. So first off, we're gonna get this air filter cover off. These bits go right into the magnetic pan. Simply we pull this off, and oh my god, look at the filth. Ugh. Next up, we're gonna use the Allen 5. It kind of sounds like a boy band Allen 5. Just like that. One down here. So essentially you have 3 on top and 2 on the sides. This end. Oh, this one is tight on. And one down here. This one is a bastard. Take this cap off, pull the cover off, place it on the side, and immediately put the cap back on. You don't want anything going into the engine. So, since we're leaving the injectors exposed, as we remove the return line, I'm gonna use some compressed air and get any debris out. This should be good. Now let's have a closer look. This right here is the fuel return line that runs on top of the injectors, and it is inserted into the injectors by these nozzles. Now of course the nozzle is held on by a little clip, so now we're going to go ahead, remove those, and place this line into a tube, as when we start the engine some fuel is probably going to come out. Let's go ahead and remove the injector wiring bracket. I don't have 2, I'm 3. Here's injector number 1. This is the return line, and this is the clip holding it into place. So one more tool you're actually going to need is a flat screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and first pull the clips out carefully, not to press too hard against this nozzle, since it's plastic. It gets brittle over time, and if you snap it, you're gonna have a very, very bad afternoon. Just like that, right into the magnetic pan. And now we repeat 5 more times. Now, before I remove the fuel return line, I'm gonna place some paper since fuel is surely going to leak. You gotta be very careful with those. As I said, plastic gets brittle over time, so this nozzle has two parts to it, left and right, and what I'm gonna try and do is pull as close as possible to the center of the nozzle as to not break the side. Well, this one came out easily. This one too. So right now I'm actually pulling right in the middle, not placing any pressure on the rest of the nozzle. Just like that. Number 5 and number 6. So yeah, we do have some leakage from the return line. Now we're gonna place it right here. See if it all fits. And now it's time to get the bottles on. I'm gonna go in order of cylinder 1 to cylinder 6 right here. Conveniently, this has a hook so we can hang it somewhere. Let's see. Number 1 goes right here. This is what the setup looks like. I'm going to place some of the nozzle clips, not some of them, all of them, these bad boys. I'm going to place them just in case there is not much fuel pressure on the return line, but safety first, you know. Now we're gonna do a quick inspection of the job done so far, see if everything's in place. What we do not want is air or fuel leakage. And that looks fine so far. Everything is clipped in place. So what's left to do is start it up and see what happens. So just a quick word. Again, this is not medical advice, but if you're doing a job where you have like hoses and tubes and lines all over the place and you have to start the engine, just make sure nothing's touching the belts, okay? Sometimes stuff hangs, like when you're 75 years old. And anyways, make sure nothing touches the belts, start the engine and have your peace of mind. So first we're gonna start it up, see if there's any leakage. If not, we're gonna do the following. We're gonna let the car idle for 2 minutes. Then we're gonna let it rev up to 2K, a consistent 2K, for half a minute, then idle for 2 again, and then go for 2.5 or maybe 3K for another 30 seconds. This, we can call it the 5-minute test. Whoa! Okay, it's coming up. They don't seem to be leaking. Yeah, I think it's time to start it. So 2 minutes idle. Oh, they're filling up quickly actually. And lots of air bubbles.
Now, I had 2 main issues with this test. The first one was that, as you can see, each and every tube is pushing out lots and lots of air bubbles. And that does not completely invalidate the test results, but still it is not an ideal testing condition. Now, I would suspect it's not precisely a problem with the fitment of this kit, because I made sure to get a snug fit both on the injector and the tube, and actually at that moment I remembered I did have air bubbles coming into the fuel line running after the fuel filter, which you can see on the right side of the screen. Now, since every single tube is getting lots of air bubbles, that makes me even more suspicious of some other fuel line pulling air in. But then again, this is my first time doing this test, so maybe, just maybe, I fit all 6 the wrong way and they're pulling air in. Now, the second problem was that the bottles were just filling up too quickly, and I was kind of forced to only complete this test at idle. Nevertheless, I did get some results, so let's get right into that.
So this is what we got as an end result. Honestly, I'm not surprised. I was talking about consistency between all injectors, but this is everything but consistent. I honestly was expecting a result of this kind, because some time ago I refurbished injectors number 6, 5 and 4. And I know what you're thinking, why did you just not refurbish 06? Well, because I was a broke man, you know? So 6 and 5, they're very consistent. They're actually at 55 milliliters. Number 4 is a bit above that at 7. Number 3 is at like 9.5. Number 2 appears to be okay, but it's on the low side, so it may have a blocked nozzle, who knows. And number 1 is at 7.5. So let's write this down. So now what's left to do from our general health check is a compression test, which on diesel engines is done through the holes of the glow plugs. Would you look at that? Ooh. First off, let's get rid of this air filter cover. Don't forget to use a magnetic pen for all your bits and pieces that can fall down into the abyss. Take this off. Filthy. Cover off immediately. The cap back on. Now we try to wiggle out these injector connectors. Quite difficult and kind of vacuum sealed, honestly. Use a tiny pick. Push this off. Easy as that. Just like that. And like that. And the last one is always a bastard. And like that. Now we can take the bracket off. One here. This is my DIY fix, because we had some short circuits here on this wiring loom, and I had to get on the road in a couple of hours, so I kind of winged it. This is the end result. Changed all the connectors, all the wires, and it worked for a good 10,000 kilometers. Now that this is free and we have some space going, we have to remove the intake manifold. First off, we remove those flaps. Remember, the longest one is at the back. It's this guy right here. Now we have to remove the EGR hose and the fuel rail pressure sensor at the back. So let's get started with this EGR hose. Pull this clamp together with the hose. Now we gotta remove this little clamp here. This is a metal clamp that joins metal pipes like those found on the EGR. And it's off, just like that. Rotate, take it out. Undo the vacuum hose on the EGR. There's 12 10mm bolts on this side, and I think 6 on this side. So first I'm gonna crack them open by hand, and then we're gonna pull them out. I was actually wrong, they're not 12, they're 11. And the ones down here. Oh, those are not 10, are they? Nope, it's not a 10. It seems like 11 maybe? Yep, that's 11. And I was wrong again, they're 5, not 6. I remember there may be one in the back. Is there? Okay, then I was right. There's 6 in the back, but one is outside. Into the tray. Now I see there's also another sensor down here, so I'm guessing this is for manifold pressure. That one is off. Let's try this one again. Maybe push it in. Yeah, that one is not coming off, but actually it's on the rail, so it doesn't need to come off. Now we get to undo the ones on the filter side, so they cannot fall down. Okay, now that those are off, we can take off the inner ones. Now let's go fishing for these nuts. Okay, 5 nuts. Okay, now we can try and move this intake a bit, see if it's stuck anywhere, and hopefully we can get it out. And of course I forgot something, we have to take this positive cable off. This would actually be best done with the manifold onto the engine, but okay, let's see what happens. Pull it off. Where are you stuck now? So this is not 6, it's actually 7. This is bullshit. Let's do this one by hand. Keep a magnet close. And there's the last nut. Now we can take this off. There we go. And I have to twist it a bit. Okay. Now, before anything bad happens, I'm going to put some paper over the intake ports so nothing gets into the engine. And now this positive terminal, I'm gonna have to hammer it out because it's tight on there and I could not do it by hand, so sometimes the hammer has to come into play. Oh, this bastard. I do have a finding, look at this. We were very close to disaster. This must be a hero hose, yeah. So, do you think it had a lot of life left? I don't think so. It leaked so much it kind of patched itself, but this will definitely have to change. Now that the manifold is off, we do have access to the glow plugs. This right here is the glow plug connector, and we're gonna have to pull all of them off. Keep in mind this procedure is best done on a hot engine, as glow plugs may seize, and if it breaks while you try to take it off, it becomes one hell of a job. So we're gonna take them off, spray some penetrating oil, and wait just a bit before taking them out. Right, let's see if it's just a pull off or there's a catch. Well, it's a BMW, there's always a catch, so let's inspect. Okay, something pinch and pull, is that it? Let's try with the second one, as the first one is actually broken. Yep, there we go. There's the second one. Let's see the first one. First one's off. Get this put back on. Pinch and pull. Someone broke those, damn. And now pull the cables to the sides. Glow plugs look like a 10mm deep socket. Time for some penetrating oil. And that's 06. Now we wait a bit and then we're gonna try to undo the first one. So something funny just happened. I tried to fit the deep socket onto this third glow plug and it shorted, which scared the crap out of me, so I disconnected the battery. I have no idea why that happened because the plug is off and it's only touching the block. So it was somehow energized. I have no idea if any of you experts can explain this shorting upon inserting the deep socket. Let me know in the comments. Until then, let's get started. So we're gonna start with plug number 1. So I'm not going to give it any excess torque. I'm just gonna try and slowly. Oh, it's tight on there. Feels like it is going to snap. Oh, okay, this one was quite easy. Let's see the second one. They do look rusty, so I have to be very, very careful. Okay, that one is loose now. Third one. This is the one I shorted. Maybe I kind of welded it on. Let's see. Okay. Actually, little to no resistance needed. Okay, number 4. Let's see. Easy now. Oh, this one is tight. Okay. Okay, that's not much force needed so far. Number 5. I'm gonna pull gently, press onto this part, and the wrench. Okay, that feels good. And number 6. Okay. Whoever did this job last did a good job of not tightening them too much. Now let's start over. Always make sure this is tight on. That's a long thread. And number 1 is out. And number 6. Oop, I see a small piece of leaf right here. Should have used some compressed air beforehand, but I did not. Okay, gently. This is a special operation. With surgical precision. Take this away. And we're good to go. Here we can see all 6 glow plugs. They look in mint condition, right? Right? Yeah. So this is our compression tester kit. It's quite simple. You have this pressure gauge and you have all types of connectors. For our purpose, we're gonna use this one. We're gonna screw it into the glow plug hole. We're gonna connect it to the pressure gauge, and then we're gonna go ahead and crank 5 to 6 times until the needle stops moving. As with the injector leak-off test, we're looking for consistency between all 6 cylinders. And I don't feel good about this because historically we don't have consistency on this car so far. So without further ado, let's connect the battery and start cranking. Okay, cylinder number 1 is connected. All the tools are out of the engine bay. Let's just do a final checkup before we crank. Okay, I think I might actually be able to crank and have a look. Something's going on down here, what the hell? That must be the fan, no? Yeah, it's the radiator fan. So I kind of freaked out because when I turned the ignition on, the electric fan in the front went bananas, and turns out this right here, yeah, this right here is the coolant temperature sensor, which I did not know. So when I unplugged it, the temperature gauge was at the end. So yeah, let's go ahead and crank it. That should suffice, and that was scary as f. So we do have the first compression reading. Cylinder number 1 is at 26 bars. So cylinder number 2 is at 27 bar. We have 26 and 27, so I would say that's quite consistent. From what I know, the differences should be no more than about 10 to 15%. So 26, 27, the difference is negligible. So far, so good. Sheesh.
After going through our initial health check, we got the verdict. This old 7 Series needs some serious love. The fuel injectors showed poor results, the coolant and oil looked suspicious, but on the bright side, the engine appears to be in overall good condition. If you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do, and in the next one we're going to get into some serious assembly, and my hair is going to do a Mexican wave. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.